Hey guys, and welcome back to another one. Now today I'm going to share with you my review of the Zidoo X5, which is the latest machine available on the Zidoo lineup, and it has been with me for about 3 to 4 weeks now, but only now I could fully test it out and obviously today share my review with you guys. Now a spoiler alert as always on my videos is that there is no perfect machine and the X5 is no exception. I always find things that I did like the most and things that I did like the least, but on the X5 I actually found some things that need to be addressed as soon as possible by Zidoo. And Zidoo, if you are watching this video, please do solve them as usual on all your boxes, on this particular case the X5. Now I would like to mention this because there are some brands selling boxes that do not support their customers at all, and you know a few that I've reviewed here on the channel that if this was the case I would say do not get this machine now or do not get this machine in the future because it's not worth it. On the Zidoo particular case, they have been improving their machines on the past, and a good example is the X6, which I reviewed, and I'll try not to forget to post the link right over here. Actually the X6 is being used to record this video right over there, but that's off topic. Just to mention that Zidoo actually do support their products, and with online updates I'm sure they will be able to fix at least the major things that I did like the least, or the things that didn't work so well. Now this is a box that I would say right now it works great for some things, but if you are looking for other things that you will see on the review, I would wait a little longer. And I would also say that once Zidoo has fixed all the problems, I will update this video, and if necessary I will revisit this box, test it again and see how it works, and then share them with you. But this just to mention that this is one of the brands that I do honestly believe that they will improve this machine as it needs to be improved. Now guys, this being said, it is a long intro, so let's go straight for the video. Hope that you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you in a few seconds. And here we are with the Zidoo X5 that features the AM Logic CPU S905, 1GB of DDR3 RAM and 8GB of flash storage with Lollipop 5.1.1. And regarding our usual and quick unboxing experience, once we open the package we will find a smaller package on the top with the Zidoo X5 protected with a plastic envelope, and underneath a secondary package with the accessories that include a HDMI cable, a power adapter, one infrared remote control and the usual documentation. And in terms of design, whenever Zidoo releases a new box, there's always something new and refreshing coming, which on my opinion I honestly like it, and the X5 is not an exception. Now looking closer at the X5, at the front we will find a very dim blue light when the device is on, and that IR receiver. On the left hand side, two USB 2.0 ports and a microSD card slot, no ports on the right hand side. At the back, a optical out HDMI 2.0 gigabit Ethernet connection, AV output and a power input jack. On the top, that Zidoo logo, and at the bottom 4 rubber feet and some vents. And the included remote control is the same that we have seen on the X6, and it's not bad at all, works fine for the basic usage and even has some nice features that we don't find on all infrared remotes on the market. And I'll post a link on screen for more details about it. But as always, for a better experience, I always prefer and advise any wireless remote that, besides giving a overall better experience, also has the air mouse capabilities that are very useful, at least on my opinion. And once we turn the machine, we will find the well-known Zidoo Cool Launcher, which works great, very simple to use but limited on the customization. So as always, I went ahead and installed KK KitKat Launcher, as I always do on any machine. And while we are here, just to point out that Zidoo has online updates as usual, but I was running the latest version of the firmware, so I could not test it out. And moving along to our usual benchmarks, on disk speed test we got 56 megabytes on reads and 4.3 megabytes on writes. And on the network speed test, using as always a power line adapter, we got on Wi-Fi 0.75 megabits of download and 1.40 megabits of upload, making the X5 the slowest machine that I've tested so far, at least in terms of Wi-Fi speeds. On the other hand, through the Ethernet connection we got 92 megabits of downloads and 20 megabits of uploads. Which, by the way, the power line adapters that I'm using at this moment are the Devolo power line adapter kit with gigabit connection and Wi-Fi AC, and for a full review just check out the right top corner of this video. Moving along, on Geekbench 3 we got 611 on single core score and 1732 on multi-core score. On Antuntune roughly 36,000, 3D Mark score, Ice Storm Extreme 4600, and on Epic Citadel an average score of 58.6 frames per second. And one of the issues that I found on the X5 firmware is that it's forcing almost every app to run at a resolution of 720 and then upscaling to 1080. Even selecting the 1080 option, the apps had no way of running at that resolution, with the exception of Kodi that was running at a chosen resolution of 1080. So in terms of benchmarks like Antuntune, 3D Mark Score and Epic Citadel that we have just seen previously and our graphic tests, just disregard them as they don't represent the actual real numbers. And moving along to the gaming area, the X5 is capable of running light games such as Respawnables without any issues at all, but running heavier games such as Asphalt 8 Airborne, although it's capable, I did face some delays on loading times, actually a lot of delays, and even had a few crashes. But I also have to mention that when the game started, I was able to play it just fine. On the other hand, game streaming from my computer to the X5 was just great, and I had some really nice results with it, as I was expecting with the S905. And moving to Kodi, and as always being as upfront as possible, I was able to play 1080 movies or files as you want to call it with the H.264 and H.265 codecs with no issues at all. And on screen we can see Big Buck Bunny, Tears of Steel and Sintel running just smoothly. But in terms of the 4K I did struggle a bit. Lower bitrate movies as Big Buck Bunny were just fine, Sintel with the H.265 codec was also very smooth, but Tears of Steel that it's a heavier bitrate movie just made the X5 completely unresponsive, and the same happened with the 10-bit samples Iceland and Dive into the New World. Now the playback was not always smooth and the X5 became very unresponsive and sometimes it even crashed. And finally, on the mirroring test, the experience was not great as well. Using as always my favorite app Airpin Pro, I could not start the stream or mirroring functions while I was on the desktop. I had to enable the app every single time to make it work with the iPhone, which did work finally once we have the app open, which is not the ideal as the Airpin Pro works on the background. On the other hand, mirroring the iMac was just impossible. I tested every single situation possible and I could not AirPlay from the iMac to the X5, and this is something, as you guys know here on the community, that we use a lot here at home. And before we move on to the conclusion, just a few words, mainly because this machine needs, on my opinion of course, some fixes that from my past experience Zidoo will deliver. On the other hand, some problems might be caused by the hardware itself and those Zidoo won't be able to fix, like having only 1GB of RAM that on my opinion does not help, especially when we see some crashes and lagging. So the question is, would I recommend the X5 at this moment? And my honest answer is, it depends. If you are looking for a machine that is capable of streaming 1080 movies and some 4K movies, play light gaming, then sure, the X5 is a nice choice as it has a nice support and online updates which hopefully will help to fix some of the issues that we have seen. On the other hand, if you are looking for a machine with a strong Wi-Fi connection, full resolution, all apps, 4K and 10-bit smooth video playback, heavy gaming or AirPlay from your computer, then at this moment it's not the best choice, at least on my personal opinion. So in conclusion guys, things that I did like the most were the refreshing design of the Zidoo X5, a fast Ethernet connection, capable of game streaming, and finally it has online updates. On the other hand, things that I did like the least were the very slow Wi-Fi connection, the resolution forced at 720 by the firmware, 10-bit and heavy 4K files makes the X5 to become unresponsive, heavy gaming is problematic, and finally AirPlay from the iMac was just impossible. But hopefully Zidoo will address these problems, and when they do, I will update this video right over here as I always do. And that is it, we have reached the end of another review, this time the Zidoo X5 Android TV box. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto George, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.